Hello there guys, Billabo10000 here, bringing you another episode of Rate That Shit. Wait, whoa, hold up. Stop the music, cut the video. Did my text music asset just say LAXChris again? Look, video, I'm sorry. I am so sorry I called the Halo 2 main theme LAXChris from Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Are you happy now? Fantastic. Alright. Hello there guys, Billabo10000 here, bringing you episode 2 of Rate Their Chances Season 3, the series where we rate the chances for potential newcomers making it into the DLC Fighter Pass 2 for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, inspired by the thread of the same name over on Smashboards, links down below. Before we get to the characters, I actually want to say thank you to everybody. My goal for episode 1 was 350 likes and 4,000 views, and as of scripting the intro portion to this episode, we're at over 7,000 views and 550 likes. And chances are when you're seeing this, the amount is going to be even higher because I'm recording this on Monday, and this video should be going up on Sunday, so dang. I'm honestly kind of floored. I didn't realize how many of you guys were waiting for this series to return, and I genuinely forgot how many people really enjoyed this content. It's been completely eye-opening for me to see so many of you in the comments being kind and keeping an open mind during debates and giving your opinions. It really is giving me a lot of hope for the future of this series and the future of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, so thank you so much. It feels like I've come home after a year abroad. Now, introducing a new segment for this series. Before we get to the characters and the ratings for a specific episode, I'm going to start taking time to address points made about previous episodes in the series. Sometimes I get things wrong or new information comes to light, so that's what this segment is for. If you want to skip to the character ratings, there are timestamps in the description and the pinned comment. For the Geno segment, many mentioned that I forgot to include Sora and 2B as Square Enix competition for Geno. And for 2B, yes, that is my mistake. I forgot about 2B, but we will get to her when she's rated on the series. As for Sora, I've been told by many Twitter users that Sora is a Disney property, not a Square Enix property, and that's what I've been saying as well since Season 1, and people seem to go back and forth, so yeah. For the Master Chief segment, many people pointed out that the Chief has appeared through a Minecraft skin pack on a Nintendo console, and I chose not to count this as Halo representation, because it's not a Halo game, it's Minecraft. Come on, guys. In the same segment, I also mentioned that Joker appeared in Persona 5 Scramble, but I didn't mention Persona Q2 for the 3DS. Honestly, I remembered that game existed after I'd recorded the line, and I really didn't feel the need to redub it because my point still got across mentioning Scramble. It's also worth noting that for Master Chief's moveset, many people brought up what I believe are called armor abilities that I failed to mention, something to do with Halo I assume, which could provide a unique game mechanic that every DLC fighter seems to have these days. And lastly, many have pointed out that there is a rumor regarding a Crash Bandicoot 5-year plan, which originally was reported on back in 2018. I'll provide a link to that original article down below. We all knew this plan existed prior to 2020, but now many sources are claiming that Crash is coming to Smash in 2021, and it was on the plan. The issue I haven't seen any names to these sources, just information people are parroting around. Until I know exactly who is spreading this information, I'm not going to be taking any leaks into account, so Crash will keep his current score until further notice, because there's every chance that people are just piggybacking on that original article. However, if any new information comes to light, Crash's rating is completely subject to change. Now, on to today's characters. The 4 characters we will be rating are Phoenix Wright from the Ace Attorney series, the most requested character from the last video, Rex and Pyra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Sora from the Kingdom Hearts series, and Doomslayer from the Doom series. I've got other characters on my radar, such as Ryu Hayabusa, Shantae, and of course my boy Isaac, all who got lots of requests, but we're going to save them for another episode. For now, these are the 4 characters who were by far the most requested from you guys, and as such, I want to get them out of the way and give them their shining spotlight. Please remember, the ratings in this video and the views presented are my opinion. They do not reflect the views of Sakurai, Nintendo, or anyone except myself. They are for fun, you may not always agree with them, but as long as they give entertainment, I've done my job correctly. If you want to see a character rated, leave them in the comments below. The comment with the most likes after 24 hours will get their character rated guaranteed, but please remember, only one character per commenter. And I'd also like to issue a challenge. If we reach 1,000 likes on this video within 2 days, I will rate not 4, but 5 characters in episode 3 instead of 4. Can we do it in the time limit? It's up to you guys. But anyway, we've got characters that need rating, so without further ado, let us begin. First up on today's docket, we've got the ultimate defense attorney ready to crack the case and make his way into Smash. It's Phoenix Wright. With a third appearance on Rate Their Chances, having been given a 25% for the base roster and a 60% chance for the first Fighter's Pass, he's no stranger to making his case for a playable spot on the series. Phoenix first debuted in Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney for the Game Boy Advance way back in 2001. As the main protagonist of the original trilogy and the most recognizable character from the franchise, he's built quite the reputation across the years. He's been a fantastic defense attorney, a professional poker player, and he's helped mentor notable figures like Apollo Justice, another protagonist of the Ace Attorney franchise. Most often aided by supporting character Maya Fey, a spirit medium, he's right at home in the courtroom and, in some cases, the battlefield, having been given a complex moveset in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which revolved around a stance style of gameplay where he could switch between investigation, courtroom, and turnabout styles while collecting evidence. His moveset was mechanically full of depth, and despite seeming like a joke character in theory, he's got the personality to back you up in a fight. In other words, with an appearance in another fighting game, he wouldn't struggle for a moveset, and no doubt he would be quite unique to play as, though I will bring up one concern. His moveset I just referenced bears a striking resemblance to how Steve's Material moveset plays in Ultimate. Could the similarities hold him back? Or could Sakurai just reinvent the wheel and give Phoenix a new moveset entirely? The latter is probably the option we're gonna go with. Coming from the visual novel genre, he would certainly represent a side of gaming that is yet to be truly represented in Smash Bros. Though this isn't a guarantee or a buffer to his chances, as we've yet to see genres like the puzzle or horror genre be represented via a playable inclusion either. In terms of OST, we've got a massive selection of intense themes to battle to, which could also be remixed. Any of the courtroom themes when you're interrogating a witness or chasing a testimony would be extremely fitting. And speaking of the courtroom, there's no doubt that would be his stage. The layout would probably work best as a walk-off stage, with the judge's podium and the stands for the defense and prosecution being obstacles that help give the stage a bit of level to avoid feeling too flat. As far as spirits go, I've already mentioned Maya Fey, but there's also Mia Fey, Miles Edgeworth, Dick Gumshoe, the Judge, Larry Butts, Apollo Justice, Francisco Von Karma, and it would be a crime if we didn't get Godot somehow. The Ace Attorney series has so many amazing characters, picking spirits should be as easy as can be. Now, I mentioned Phoenix in my last episode, as he's owned by Capcom, one of the most represented third parties in Smash, so I'm not going to repeat the same information, but I will say I still think if Capcom is getting another character, it will come down to Dante or Phoenix. Many still cry out for Monster Hunter, but I will tackle the reasons for why I think they are less likely in their respective episode. So let's keep the focus on Phoenix. When stacked up against Dante, who is the more iconic character? Well, if we're talking Nintendo seniority, Phoenix wins in a landslide, as his games were almost exclusively based on Nintendo platforms from the GBA to the DS, the Wii, the 3DS, and most recently, the Switch. In comparison, Dante's only recently got his first 3 games ported to the Switch, so you'd think Phoenix has the better shot, right? Well, I don't see it that way. Phoenix Wright certainly is the number 2 right now, but who is more financially viable and will reach more of the gaming community, increasing Fighter Pass sales? I hate to say it, guys, but it isn't Phoenix. If he gets chosen over Dante, it would probably be because of severe fan demand, because business-wise, it makes way more sense to focus on the more marketable character out of the two, and that's Dante. Phoenix isn't out of it though. By being a Capcom character, he already has a leg up over much of the competition, so that will be reflected in my rating. I give Phoenix Wright his highest chance score rating yet of 80%. I can't give him the same rating as Dante if my gut is telling me to lean more towards Dante than Phoenix, but I can still acknowledge that Phoenix is one of Capcom's top characters left in contention. As for a want score, I'll give Phoenix a 75%. Having experienced the first 3 Ace Attorney games and the anime, I get it. I completely understand the love for this character. But I can't deny that while I think Nick would be amazing, and I would be very happy to see him, he's just not one of my most wanted. And that's okay. For the first time this season, a first-party character lands on our doorstep, and this one is quite the throwback. Everybody cast your minds back to June 25th, 2018. The first ever episode of Rate Their Chances, where we rated 5 different characters. Springman, who's an assist now with an arms wrap in Smash, King K. Rool, who was added that August, Elma, who is currently a spirit in-game, Isaac, who's from the only non-playable franchise to have a spirit of every class in the game, back as an assist trophy as well, and Rex and Pyra. Back then, I gave the Xenoblade 2 pairing a chance score of 0%. We all knew they had no shot at the base roster, however, I said they would have a major chance at DLC. The same thing was said of Springman, and in a way, I was right in terms of arms. Of course, Fighter Pass 1 we wrote Rex off because of the Mii costume. However, with Fighter Pass 2, it's clear that nothing in regards to the base game is set in stone. Min Min upgrading spirits to playable, Bomberman upgrading an assist trophy to a Mii costume, and so Rex and Pyra suddenly are back in the game. Now then, Rex and Pyra are the main protagonists of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which first released on my birthday, December 1st, 2017. Rex was just a humble salvager until a job landed him in the path of the Aegis Blade Pyra, and ever since then they were linked as driver and blade. Due to Xenoblade Chronicles 2's mechanics, you simply cannot have one without the other, as they rely on each other to power up their abilities through proximity and affinity. Pyra is a flame-based blade, so many of their attacks would be buffed with fiery damage, and perhaps the more in sync they are as they fight, the more powerful their attacks become. It could have elements of Arsene, in the sense that they would probably be powering up a meter to get their best attacks, but unlike Arsene, when the meter hits full, they would have to use their attack, pushing them back to 0, similar to Cloud's Limit Break, only they get stronger while the meter grows, as opposed to only once the meter is full. They would also take inspiration from characters like Ice Climbers and Rosalina and Luma, as you have 2 fighters on the battlefield. I think the Ice Climbers method would work better for these characters to give the pair some sense of individuality, or if you want to really go deep into this character's playstyle, have it be like Pokemon Trainer, where Rex can use different blades from his game, like Mithra, Dromark, Rock, or Brigid. This actually leans perfectly into the spirit board for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, as so far the only spirits of characters in-game come from the main party members, Pyra, Mithra, and Poppy, the artificial blade of Tora, your Nopon party member. You could have many of the battles revolve around other party blades, as mentioned before, or you could have them take on the antagonists like Malos or Jin. Maybe even chuck some Torna DLC representation with Laura just to make the Xenoblade 2 players cry. It would be great. In terms of a stage, I feel like we'd want something different from the current Xenoblade stage, so my suggestion would be the Argentum Trade Guild or Gramps Back. Both of these locations are the first 2 you visit in-game, and they could each have some fun little gimmicks while not spoiling too much about the plot. You could easily use Gramps Back as a traveling stage to fly past all the other titans in the world of Ulrest, with the World Tree constantly in the background, which would be amazing. Of course, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has a massive OST to pull from for Smash. They only have 3 battle themes from the title in-game, so there is a gaping hole ready to be filled with all the good tunes from Rex's home game. Bring it on, Sakurai, blow away our eardrums. But now we get to the good stuff. What are the chances that we see Rex and Pyra make the jump to playable? Firstly, let's keep in mind that Sakurai gave us the Rex Mii costume for purchasing the first Fighter's Pass, because they couldn't get him in the base roster. What's worth noting is that technically, this was a free costume if you bought the Fighter's Pass, so you're not paying money for the costume itself. This is a different situation to the Mii costumes getting revealed during each Sakurai Presents, where he outright states you have to spend money on those costumes to receive the fighter. Why do I bring this up? Well, you're not going to make a fighter out of a DLC Mii costume that consumers have already paid money for. That would be an extremely scummy business practice. However, Rex doesn't fall under that banner. His Mii costume couldn't just be bought from the shop, which makes me wonder, was that costume just designed to tide people over until he was actually brought into the game via a proper DLC? He certainly fits Sakurai's design philosophy of wanting unique characters with unique moveset potential, and we know Sakurai wanted him in-game based on when he originally gave us the Rex costume. The Xenoblade series has done fantastically for itself, and probably does deserve to get a second representative on the roster, and as much as people want Elma from Xenoblade Chronicles X, Rex is the far more likely choice. One game is still trapped on the Wii U, while the other is on the Switch. I think that's a pretty good indicator of where Sakurai's head would go regarding the franchise, and Nintendo as well. I also do believe we could be seeing 1 or 2 first-party characters in this lineup. This is the second pass of DLC, and assuming they're creating these characters on some sort of budget, with so many fighters added, perhaps by sticking to some first-party characters they'd be able to cut costs, so to speak. Speculation right now is very much focused on third-party characters, and I feel like we need to give the first parties a small platform as well, after what happened with Byleth. Though this is also purely speculation on my part, nothing concrete, so please don't take my word for it. This is Rex and Pyra's best shot at getting into the roster. Their win condition is prominent and they just need the luck of the draw, so I give Rex and Pyra a chance score of 90%. I think they are the most likely first-party character to make the jump to playable, simply because we know Sakurai wanted him to be playable when the base game launched. We haven't heard anything nearly as concrete for other first-party fighters. I think it's incredibly sound logic. As for a want score, well, I played through Xenoblade Chronicles 2 back at the start of 2019, making a massive video on the game, links in the top right corner, and I adored it from start to finish. Rex's voice acting may sometimes leave a lot to be desired, but overall, I thought he was fantastic. So I'll give Rex and Pyra a want score of 85%. There's a couple of characters I personally want before Rex, but I'd be happy to see him and Pyra get their Elysium in the form of Smash. Alright, time for what I assume will be the most controversial character I've rated so far. Let's unlock the debate and discuss the merits of Sora from Kingdom Hearts. His history is not as intense as other Rate Their Chances veterans, having received an original 30% in his first ever rating, while being buffed to a 40% in Season 2, with his main issue being that Erdrick was the fan favourite, keeping his chance scored down. And I was correct both times when rating him. Sora is the main character of the main trilogy of Kingdom Hearts games, first appearing in 2002 in Kingdom Hearts 1. While the Kingdom Hearts franchise has seen a variety of protagonists since Sora, from Riku to Roxas, Aqua to Terra, Ventus to your OC in the mobile game, Sora is the definitive face of the franchise, and he's the equivalent to the Chosen One trope in the story. His main method of attack is his Keyblade, which starts out as a humble sword in the first Kingdom Hearts, only for the series to branch out with so many unique styles and ways to attack that currently there is so much potential for a unique and interesting moveset that it hurts. Sora has drive forms, shot locks, attractions, he can wall run, use magic, Keyblade transformations, the command deck, and so much more. With all of that power at his fingertips and his skill as a fighter, it's impressive that despite all of that, he's constantly unable to save Kairi. He's most often seen joined by Donald and Goofy, though in more recent titles, the Kingdom Hearts Keyblade wielders have gained more prominence, to the point where you could take the Disney out of Kingdom Hearts and still have more than enough content to base a Smash Pack around, even if it might feel a bit off. As far as spirits go, you've got the aforementioned protagonists from earlier on, you've also got Xehanort, Xemnas, Ansem, Young Xehanort, Terranort, all the same character by the way, as well as Axel, Xion, Kairi, the various Heartless, Nobodies, Dream Eaters. Yeah, you've got more than enough variety to make a good spirit board. Kingdom Hearts also has a banging soundtrack composed by Yoko Shimomura, and many of the battle themes, opening themes, and beyond work fantastically in a fight setting. And for even more proof of how good she is, she's the person who arranged Cass's theme and Treasure Trove Cove for Ultimate, the former being one of my favorite Smash remixes from this game. Now, choosing a stage for the series is a little more difficult. The 4 locations for me that come to mind are Destiny Islands, Traverse Town, Hollow Bastion, and Twilight Town. I'm under the assumption we're not using Disney World or the Disney IP, so no references to Mickey, Donald, Goofy, etc., because imagine how expensive that would have to be. So if I had to pick one of these locations, I'd probably go with Traverse Town. It's the hub world of the first Kingdom Hearts game, and it's the location I'd say that most fans are attuned to, with Twilight Town being a close second. Honestly though, I'm not sure what sort of gimmicks these stages could use to make them unique or interesting. It's something for Sakurai to figure out, but leave your thoughts on what Kingdom Hearts stages you'd like to see in the comments. Now onto Sora's potential chances. I asked on Twitter what everyone thought about Sora's chances in Smash, and as stated earlier, Sora is owned by Disney in collaboration with Square Enix. Square Enix is not the be-all and end-all for Sora, Disney is, and as such, no matter how gracious Disney are to wanting Sora in Smash, I have to imagine this is going to come down to a price. How much do they want for Sora in Smash? Well, initially you may think, oh god, Disney wants to bleed Nintendo dry. However, Disney and Nintendo have worked on tons of projects in the past. Many Disney games feature on Nintendo consoles, various Kingdom Hearts titles have appeared on Nintendo's handhelds, and Disney even allowed Wreck-It Ralph to appear in a Sonic racing game of all things, so they're not stingy with their IP. Now, some may bring up a post from Resetera floating around where a user states that stepping into Disney's court was too pricey, and because this post was not deleted, like most fake leakers on Resetera are, many are taking this to mean Mondo Mega has a grain of truth to their words, saying Nintendo wanted Sora, but it was too much for them to handle. Given we're working with a DLC budget, there could be some truth to these words. Whatever the case though, whether you believe it or not, Sora is highly demanded and would be a massive inclusion for Smash. But if you consider him a Square rep, he's battling against Lara Croft, 2B, and Geno, while if you consider him a Disney rep, he's fighting against a hypothetical budget. I'm gonna have to use my gut when it comes to this rating, more so than other characters, because while it could swing in either direction, I don't think it's Sora's time. As heartbreaking as that is to admit, there's just something inside of me that's saying Sora isn't coming. As such, Sora gets a chance score of 35%, smack bang in the middle of his previous 2 ratings. I'm not going to write the character off completely, and he could be re-rated into a better position depending on who's announced in the future. But while Sora's high demand is noted now, he's far from the only character to receive high demand, so I don't really take that into consideration compared to other people. As for a want score though, I'm gonna keep Sora at a cool 85%, same as I gave him last time. He's not my favourite of the Kingdom Hearts protagonists, I'd rather have Aqua or Roxas, and as far as Square characters go, I would weirdly enough prefer Geno or 2B out of personal preference. So yeah, that's where we're at. Hold your Keyblades high, wielders, because look, I've been wrong before. For our final character of the day, we're taking a portal to hell, grabbing some ammo, and taking on some demons as we settle in for a ride with the Doomslayer. So let me run you over his history. In Season 1, he got rated a 5%, which was incredibly accurate as he never had a shot at the base roster. And in Season 2, I originally buffed him to a 10%, I didn't think he'd get in over a Microsoft character, and lo and behold, Banjo got in, and Bethesda, along with Doomslayer, got ignored. That being said, before Banjo's reveal in April of that year, I did buff Doomslayer to a 65%, and he stayed near the top of the season until I stopped rating characters. Is he still as high as he managed to climb back in our second season? Well, let's sit back and take a look at the situation, shall we? Originating from the 1993 title Doom, the Doomslayer, more commonly known as Doomguy, was the main character of a game that pioneered the first-person shooter genre. He is known the world over by gamers everywhere. Having had a great pair of original titles, followed by a rather underwhelming third entry, the series was placed on a very long hiatus, coming back with a vengeance in 2016 under id Software, published by Bethesda. Doom 2016 was a massive success, leading the way for a sequel, Doom Eternal, to come out this year, with a Switch release still to be released. It's safe to say the reboot really revitalized this franchise and the popularity of the Doomslayer himself. Doom's effect on the gaming industry cannot be understated, and it would be extremely satisfying for the Slayer to meet his idol Isabelle and make his way into Smash. Now, my idea for a moveset might be seen as a bit ambitious, but I'd like to see him based on his Doom Eternal appearance. Have the same weapons he does in that game, his firearms, chainsaw, Doomblade, etc., but have the ranged weapons have limited ammo, and the only way to replenish that ammo is to get into fights and successfully pull off attacks. In Doom Eternal, killing enemies with different weapons nets you different types of ammo. For example, using a chainsaw causes ammo to burst out of enemies. It effectively turns into a resource management game. Maybe that ammo management could be translated to Smash. Doomslayer also has a variety of movement options, as he can wall climb, swing, and parkour through the air in his latest adventure. Of course, he would need to be toned down in order to work in Smash. We can't be raising the age rating of the game, so no blood or gore. Moves would simply cause puffs of smoke to appear instead, or something like that. In terms of spirits, Doom's spirits should really focus on the iconic demons of the series: the Caco Demon, the Icon of Sin, the Baron of Hell, the Cyber Demon, Imps, Hell Knights, the Marauder, John Romero's decapitated head. You're spoiled for choice. The music of Doom is also perfect for Smash. It's already tailor-made for a violent, bloody brawl, so it would fit right at home in Smash Bros. Hearing the shredding of a heavy metal guitar while battling on a stage based in Hell or Mars would be absolutely insane, and everyone would love it. There's no way you can go wrong by having Doom in Smash. That being said, id Software, owned by Bethesda, are now officially owned by Microsoft. Does this affect them getting into Smash, given Microsoft just got Steve added to the game? No, not at all. The deal to purchase Bethesda was this year. The Fighter Pass 2 roster was finalized last year. So Bethesda could still be competing against Microsoft, assuming we only get one Western rep just like last time. But the acquisition of their studio holds no bearing on our choice today. However, what does make me incredibly skeptical of Doom is the Vault Boy skin currently in Smash. You'd think that if Bethesda were getting a character in Smash, Sakurai and his team would wait until their character to reveal a Vault Boy Mii costume. Instead, it got revealed during the Min Min presentation. It could be something as small as that detail that lowers Doomslayer's chances. Now, I know many people still believe in the Slayer due to the Cacomallow leak, which was a Smash leak last year that showed Mii fighters with Caco Demon and Mallow costumes in a screenshot. Now, we don't know if all the Mii costumes are developed in advance and just given out when a fighter is released, or if they are worked on much closer to the release of their chosen pack. I have always believed and leaned towards this leak being fake, though. The fact that you have Ken doing the exact same pose as the iconic leak that leaked him for the base roster, as well as the knowledge that it is possible for modders to mod Mii costumes into Smash, I don't buy it. I never did. It's been too long at this point. The irony is, the characters it hints at, Geno and Slayer, could come to Smash, and those character costumes could come with them, but there's a chance those costumes would look different to the ones shown off in the leak. That's the funny part of all of this. Without that leak, Doomslayer is about as likely as anyone else, but do I think he's more likely than Crash, as an example, as they're both Western characters, and potentially in contention with each other? Well, I give the Doomslayer a chance score of 30%. If the Cacomallow leak was real, I'd be much higher, and had this been before Steve was announced, he'd have been higher still. But with a Bethesda costume in Smash and no character that's playable, I think Vault Boy is the closest they're gonna get to a playable fighter in-game unless there's a third fighter's pass. If I'm wrong, but that's my bet. As for a want score, I'll give Doomslayer a solid 90%. I love the idea of Isabelle and the Slayer finally getting to meet, but if I'm being completely honest, I just want Doom music in Smash, and I really think that's quite the understandable motivation. And here are the current standings after Episode 2. Compared to last week, I feel I was a bit harsher on today's group. Look, I love the hype surrounding these characters, and the fan support for their inclusion is a great thing, but I'm not gonna let communities blind me from making the ratings I feel are appropriate for my gut. I've got a fairly good track record anyway, so let's see where we go from here. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you're still here, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell, and stay tuned for next week's episode. What are your ratings for today's characters? Leave your thoughts down below. If you're watching this within the first hour or two of upload, I will actually be live right now on Twitch with a Pokemon White Nuzlocke, so click the link in the description to head on over. It'll be a fun time. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.